Everyone, welcome to the lecture number 1 of unit number 3, vector spaces and inner product spaces. In this lecture, we'll start the unit number 3 of linear algebra and stochastic process. Very first, we'll go through the contents of the unit number 3 and try to understand what do you mean by a vector space and inner product space. After that, we'll see the definition of vector space. Okay. So, first content of the unit number 3 is vector space definition. Definition of a vector space we are going to discuss. After that, after understanding the concept of vector space, then we'll see the next topic, subspace of a vector space. Actually, I forgot to add here the second content of the unit is subspace of a vector space. Fine. Then after that, we are going to have discussion on linear combination of vectors, then linear span, then linear dependence and linear independence of vectors. And after studying all these things, we are having in our syllabus basis and dimension of a vector space. So we'll see the definition of a basis, dimension of a vector space. Fine. Then we have linear operator. Linear operator also one of the part of vector space. Up to this linear operator, we are having vector spaces. Okay. And after that, inner product spaces start. So from definition of inner product space up to Gram-Schmidt process, all these contents are belongs to inner product spaces like Euclidean space, norm or length of a vector, then orthogonality, orthonormal set, orthonormal set, and Gram-Schmidt process. These are the part of inner product spaces. Okay. Basically, vector space, by vector space we mean it is some set of elements, right? It is set of elements which satisfies some conditions. After satisfying some certain number of conditions, that set can be called as a vector space. The meaning of the word vector, you don't have to take directly as a vector in the form ijk, which we have studied in the first two units. Which we use generally in the vectors like ijk form. Okay, not on they also form vector space, but not every time we don't have vectors in that form. Sometimes vectors can be written in the form of matrices also. Sometimes vectors can be written in the form of ijk also. Okay, so there are various techniques to write vectors. By a vector, the whatever the elements of that space, that set we are having, which we call it as a vector space, the elements of that set can be called as a vectors. Fine. So this meaning you have to take. And the study of linear algebra is not possible unless and until you don't know the vector spaces. Okay, so for studying linear algebra, you must have the knowledge of vector space with you. Once you understand the vector space, then all the other topics of the linear algebra you can understand very well. Now let us see after this we'll start the discussion on first content of the unit number 3, that is the definition of a vector space. We'll go through the definition, then you will understand what is the meaning of a vector space. So here is the definition of vector space. Before discussing the definition, the notation you need to understand. Here we denote capital R for the field of scalar quantities. All the elements of the R will be scalar quantities. Alpha, beta, A, B, C are the elements of that set R. That is they are scalar quantities. And capital V we denote for vector space. Throughout the unit we are going to denote vector space by capital V. And small u, comma v, comma w are the elements of V, that vector space. So they will be called as a vectors. Now definition of a vector space. A vector space over R, means over the field of scalars, consists of a set of vectors with two operations, addition and multiplication. We denote them by plus and dot. Multiplication we denote by dot here. Subject to the following conditions, then V is called vector space over R. When this set of vectors V, small v, which are the elements of the capital V set, under the operation addition and multiplication, when they will satisfy these following properties, it will form that set of vectors will form a vector space. Now very first we are having, there are total 10 properties it must satisfy. So very first first property is for all u v belongs to v, for all the members of that capital V set, and for all alpha beta belongs to R. Okay, we have considered two elements of a vector V, the set V, and two elements of a set R. So this V is the set of vectors and the R is the set of scalar. For these elements, these 10 properties must get satisfied, and then we can say that these are the arbitrary element of that set we have considered. If that arbitrary elements of means if these arbitrary elements satisfy all these properties, every element of that set will be satisfied these properties. So we have considered some arbitrary elements of that set V and R. Now let us see, we are going to use only two operations, addition and multiplication. Addition we denote by plus and multiplication we denote by dot. So first property, u plus v must be member of V. So when we take any two elements of that set V, u and v, their addition must belong to that set V again. That is, V is closed. This property is called as closure property. That is, V is closed under addition. The first property is what? V is closed under addition. Means, for example, if we have set of real numbers, right? We know that 1 by 2 is a real number and root 2 is also a real number. When we add that two numbers, 1 by 2 plus root 2, that new number, the addition also is a member of a real number set. So it also belongs to R. In that way, that members of members of the set V, if you take any two random elements, then that addition of the two members must belongs to the V. So this is the first condition that set must satisfy. Second condition, the operation addition has to be commutative. What is the meaning of commutative? That u plus v addition must be equal to v plus u. Okay, like one, we know that for numbers, real numbers, 1 plus 2 is same as 2 plus 1, like that. Okay, so the addition has to be commutative for every member of that set V. Third one is associative law, it must satisfy. Associative law is what? U plus v plus w are in bracket is same as the addition of u and v in one bracket and then addition with w. This addition also, this associative law also, these members of the capital V, u, v, w must satisfy. Then fourth property, u plus 0 is equal to u, where 0 belongs to v. This 0 is the 0 of set of vectors V. Okay, depending upon the set V, the 0 of that set will be different. If we have set of matrices, then the 0 of that set of matrices is 0 matrix, null matrix, right? Null matrix. If we consider all the set of matrices of order m by n, okay, then the 0 of that set of that 0 element of that set of matrices will be 0 matrix. So 0 member of V depends upon what type of set V we are having with us. If we have set of functions, then 0 will be 0 function, right, which maps everything to 0. And in that way, this 0 is the member of vector V, vector set of vectors V, and when we add any element of that set U, that vector V, with that 0, you must get that same element U. Okay, and this has to be true for all U in that member V. So there must exist 0 element there. Okay, then the next thing is there exists minus U belongs to V such that U plus minus U equal to 0. Means additive inverse, you can call it as additive inverse. There must exist for every U belong to set of vectors V the minus of negative of that vector, so that their addition will be equal to the 0 element of the set. Okay, so these 5 conditions are related to what? Addition operation. Now the next conditions are related to what? Multiplication operation. Property number 6, there exists alpha belong to R such that alpha times U belongs to V. Okay, so whenever we consider any scalar alpha from set of scalars, and if you multiply it to any random vector U belongs to V, then alpha into U must belongs to that V. Okay, and that operation is called as V is closed under multiplication, scalar multiplication. Fine. The operation you can call it as vector addition and scalar multiplication. Next, property number 6, condition number 6, there exists condition number 7, there exists alpha belongs to R such that alpha into U plus V equal to alpha U plus alpha v. This condition also that elements of the v must satisfy. Okay, it is called as a distributive property also you can say of scalar multiplication. Alpha distribute over the addition of two vectors u and v. Next, property number 8, there exists alpha and beta belongs to R such that alpha plus beta times u equal to alpha u plus beta u. You need to check only all these 10 properties whether uh, that set given set V satisfy all these properties or not. Once you show that all these properties are satisfied for that set V, then it forms a vector space. Next, property number 9, alpha in times beta into u equal to alpha times beta u. And finally, very important one, there exists 1 belongs to R, which is a set of scalars such that 1 into u equal to u. This one is also called as a multiplicative identity. Okay, so when we have a set of matrix, and if you multiply that set of any matrix by 1, it results in the same matrix, right? Like that, this if you multiply by some scalar 1, then when we multiply that member of the set V by that number, we'll get again that same number. Such a conditions that set V must satisfy. It's all 10 conditions when the some set satisfy. Okay, for some set of scalars R, then that set V will be called as a vector space over that particular set of real numbers. Okay, over that particular set of scalars. Now in coming lecture we are going to do the examples. Hope you understood this definition. You write it carefully, all these 10 conditions, and whenever you want to check, for one example I have written here, let V be this is set of some elements, right? And when this set of elements will satisfy all these 10 properties, it will form a vector space. This example we are going to do in the coming lecture. So try to understand this definition of a vector space first. Write it down and try to understand all these 10 conditions. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. For a given set V, we are going to check these conditions one by one, whether the given set satisfy all these conditions or not. Whenever that set will satisfy all these conditions, it will form a vector space. And few well-known vector spaces I will tell you. Set of real numbers is also a vector space. So, set of real numbers satisfies all these conditions. It is closed under addition. It is closed under it is satisfied commutative law. Addition operation satisfy commutative law. Addition operation satisfies associative law. All these 10 properties set of real numbers satisfies. Therefore, it is one of the example of a vector space. Set of matrices, m by n matrix is also a vector space. That matrices set also satisfy all these 10 conditions. Okay, so we are going to see more examples of vector space in coming lecture. So hope you understood this discussion content of the unit number 3 and the definition of vector space. We'll see the examples based on vector space in coming video. Thank you.